The Indian Express carried a report today about a village, Chaudhary Dand village in Sopian district in Kashmir Valley. It said the last family, Hindu Pandit family that lived in the village left yesterday, left for Jammu. This was subsequent to the killing of Puran Krishan Bhatt on October 18. In the last 10 days, every family, Kashmiri Pandit family, who lived there in harmony with their Muslim neighbors for generations, who did not move out even during the mass exodus of 1990s, because they were so strongly entertained as a community in the village. They had to leave. They left behind large plots of agricultural land, their ancestral house, their big orchards, their all belongings, and left only with one or two bags, suitcases, to eke out a living in Jammu or other part of the country. Sopian district administration is of course saying, no, they have just gone for the winter break. It's not that they have left the place. Indian Express spoke to some of these families who have migrated from this village to Jammu, and they said categorically that they would not like to come back. Life is more important than the property. They say after this killing, lots of paramilitary forces, armed forces have been stationed. What use is this? Yes, now they are there, but another 15 days, another 1 month, they will all disperse. Then we will be left to our fate. Who will protect us? And that's the reason we cannot live there. They insisted that their neighborhood, Kashmiris are their brethren. The Muslims are their brethren. They do not have any enmity. In fact, they have given all their land, all their orchards to their Muslim neighbors to look after. But the targeted killings by the terrorists certainly leaves no scope for them to live in that united bond. So this, even the Muslims are saying the same. Muslim neighbors, they all said we try to persuade our Hindu brethren to stay back, but we knew how difficult it is when the threat to your life is there. How can you persuade anyone to stay back? This is a situation which harks back to the conditions in the 1990s, when Mujahidins, Pakistani-sponsored Mujahidins and Pakistani-financed JKLF, Jammu Kashmir Liberation Front, after the series of developments in the country began attack on the minority community. They plundered killed, raped Hindu Pandit women. And that's the reason thousands of families had to leave in desperation and migrate to Jammu, to NCR, and some even went abroad. This is a situation where only a handful of people, Kashmiri Pandits, stayed back. Maybe total Kashmiri Pandits estimated was about 1.5 lakh number, maybe a lakh, more than a lakh people migrated during that time. But those who had stayed back and had persisted that they would continue to live in harmony with their Muslim brethren now are facing the consequences. After 1990s, the efforts were made by successive governments to bring back Kashmiri Pandits. In 2010, Prime Minister Manmohan Singh and Chief Minister Omar Abdullah made that program. A joint effort of PM employment scheme was created, and many Kashmiri Pandits were provided jobs in the areas of their domicile so that they can return to the native land. And something more than 5,000, about between 5,000 to 6,000 people actually returned with their jobs. 2015, after Narendra Modi government came to power, they also made another plan. The government made a plan for the financial projects of Kashmiri Pandits, and that also brought in certain section of the Kashmiri Pandits who had left the valley in 1990s. But when things were turning to be coming back to normal, and there were hopes that more and more Kashmiri Pandits who had left in desperation, who still do want to come back to the valley, would be able to come. Then came 2019, August 5, 2019. Article 370 revolt, and that stirred a new revolt. And that revolt caused enormous anguish and gave rise to terrorist activities clearly financed by Pakistan. Pakistan wanted to take advantage of this disquiet among the extremist community within the Jammu and Kashmir. And that's why, of course, for 1 year there was absolute peace, but that was the peace of the graveyard. How long could the government have placed the security forces in every nook and corner of Jammu and Kashmir? For about a year, for about a year and a half. And as soon as the security forces began to be withdrawn, the extremist elements, the terrorists, began the targeted attack. And that's why since 2021, the targeted attacks have increased. Increased against Kashmiri Pandits, against non-Kashmiri, even migrants from other states who have come to work there. A bank manager who belonged to Bihar was also killed. And so many laborers who came from different Hindi heartland were also killed. So that has certainly driven fear into the heart of the Kashmiri Hindus and in the non-Kashmiri Hindus as well. And that is the reason there is now again mass exodus from Kashmir. What is the broad picture. Our government was too clever by half. It was thinking, but by taking that drastic action, it would be able to completely decimate terrorist activity and bring in absolute normalcy. It had just turned out to be the opposite. Just as Kashmir Valley peace was descending, we find this kind of disquiet in this country. No wonder the Hindu minority, who is the biggest sufferers in this, biggest victims of this, they're asking that question: why has our government abandoned us? That's the question we all must ask about from our government.